as we transition with the child in our life, what does it look like to pray? What does it look like to withstand and not be knocked over and tossed and driven by every time that we encounter? What does it look like to pursue the purpose and the mission that God has for Dr. Dr. Jim Parker? All right. So one of the things that I have been working on doing. I'm sorry, now this is the next Dr. Yay! Okay. 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 So one of the things that I've been working on is being intentional about listening to my body and taking care of me and what it needs to do. So one of the things that I want to invite you to do, and it's probably not I'm gonna invite you to take some time to breathe. I'm not thinking of breathing because it's one of those parasympathetic nervous system things that happen there without having to even make your brain do it, your body breathe and you can get what you need. But one of the things I need you to know that you can control your heart rate, you can control your mind just by taking on your movement and focusing on your breath. And so I want to invite you to do the 7 cycles because the 7 is the number of completion. And I want to be respectful of your time. So I just want to do 3 breaths. Let's say Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Let's go with it. How about that? And so basically what I want you to do is I want to invite you to, if you feel safe, or if you feel to close your eyes. And try if you can to like clear your room. You thinking about some of the things that we talked about this morning. What is God really placing in your heart? What is a place you want to super in on? And also you can be thinking about what are some things you need to do. Because as you take in the Holy Spirit and Spirit out of the space with your inhale, you can also release some that you can feel. So if you don't mind, what you're going to do is each cycle, we're going to do this, you're going to take a deep cleansing breath, inhale, fill up your belly first and leave the chest. And then whenever you're ready, just blow it out. And in your own time, this time space, do that 3 times. And as you're doing that, just be thinking about what is it that I need to receive in this space that you know, and what is it that I need to release from myself from this space. Thank you. I get started working on my inside, my hair starts to do the jittery thing, my belly starts to do this thing that says if you want to go to the bathroom, it's really dumb. So my main space is like this. So I use that to take a moment and just kind of send myself and focus on myself. Thank y'all for that. So we're gonna talk about challenges today. But before we get into talking about challenges, I would really like to give us an opportunity to go back when times were simpler, when we didn't have a care in the world. Do any of you guys remember what you wanted to be when you grow up? Think back to when you were like, I don't know, 3, 4, 5, you know, for kindergarten, they made you go through all these little stations and play in this section and that section. What did you want to be when you grew up? Take a moment to think about it. Now, tell somebody at your table, before you knew anything about being an adult, what was the thing that you wanted to be when you grew up? Really? That's Thank you guys. Bring it back. That's so funny. At the table over here, Mimi had it together when she was a little bitty girl. She didn't want to do anything when she was she just wanted to write checks. I want to I wasn't even thinking about like when I was a little girl, I wanted to be a beautician. Y'all know what a beautician is. You know now we're all educated. It's a cosmetologist. I didn't know anything about that. I knew that the people at the salon on Saturday made everybody pretty and feel good about themselves, and I wanted to do that. And so I would take all of our dogs between me and my sister, and I would line them up on Saturday, and like they were my clients. They were my clients, and I would spend my day like whipping their hair together. It was, I mean, when I think about it now, it probably looked extra crazy. My mom was probably really irritated getting those knots out of the hair and the dog, but that's what I want to do. I was 100% certain that's what I was going to do. So, I have two daughters that I birthed, and I have two bonus kids that are way much bigger than this. And so, that's Bella and Gracie. Bella's the taller one, Gracie is the shorter one. And they're funny, okay? So, Bella, since she was probably old enough to talk and realize, she always had some kind of idea of what she wanted to do when she was up. And you asked Bella, maybe last year, Bella, what do you want to be when you grow up? Mommy, I want to be a doctor, a teacher, a basketball player, an artist, and a scientist. Okay. You don't want to pick? No? Why do I pick? Oh, okay. Let's go with that. Gracie is a very different child, okay? You got Gracie from the time she was 2. I don't even ask anymore because I don't even know what she wants to do. Forever you say, Gracie, what do you want to be when you grow up? She's not gonna stop and have a conversation. She said, a horse, Mom. What do you want to be when you grow up? A horse. Like, duh, like I know you're really smart. Why are you asking me again? Like, I want to be a horse. And there was, I don't care how many PhDs I have, how many degrees, there was no convincing Gracie that she could not be a horse. No convincing. And so, one of the things I wonder about is, just the innocence. Those kids don't know anything about bills. They don't know anything about expectations. They don't know anything about societal norms. They don't know anything about internalized racism. They know nothing. There is nothing that would cause those to believe that she wouldn't be able to do any of those things. We have a very different story, don't we? We have a very different story. Now, as I got older and I started to learn about being an adult, and I grew up in a multi-family home. It wasn't a single parent home. I was raised by my granny. And my granny, she had a kid and they had kids, everybody could live in the house at the same time. And so it was a bunch of us. Now you can imagine when there's that many people in the house, resources are spread as thin as the number of people in there. So I decided when I was younger that I wanted to be a doctor. I want to be a doctor because in my mind that was the job that I could do that would allow me to have the financial security that I wouldn't have to file in the States with somebody. I also wanted something that I had not ever seen before, and I wanted a family. I wanted a husband first, and then I wanted kids. That's not something I experienced. My grandma let all of my aunts and all of their kids and all of us live in the house together, and we all grew up in the same space. I loved it. I was never alone. We always had a ball, and I just wanted something. And so I looked for an example, and once I came to the Lord, the ever elusive Proverbs 31 woman became my goal. And so I was like, okay, I think I can do that. She was financially savvy. I wanted to know about money. I wanted to grow her wisdom. I wanted to do all the things. I wanted to make sure I tried to keep myself together. The confidence that she didn't do with wisdom, she was able to give freely, meaning she was writing checks. and not thinking about it. Those are the things that I want to aspire to. Now, when I think about what I wanted to be when I was a little kid and where I am now in my head, plan A was the thing. You go to school, learn how to do the trade, you get the job, the rest is history. What I learned is that as I grew older, my journey started to look less like plan A and more like this bottom squiggly line that's not even a plan. When you look at these lines and you think about your own life, which one can you relate to? It's that squiggly line. It's the whole thing. It's the whole thing. But I'm here to talk about challenges. I'm sure any single person in this room could have gotten up and been in this space and been able to have these conversations about what are the things that are challenging us? What are the things that are plaguing us as we go throughout this day? I also wonder about what happened between when I was a kid at 2 and I wanted to be a certain thing and where we are today. I want to bring attention to some of the things that can hinder us or cause us to not live fully into the potential that God created us to walk in. I'll give you a second to read this one. I thought about these things as I was putting them up here, and I think about them in a way by way of testimony, if you will. I experienced the past hurdles, and I also experienced present struggles, and I'm sure everybody in here does too. When you think about where you came from, do you think about your pedigree? When you think about 3 generations ago, what was your family like? What are you carrying into here today that was placed on you that you had you weren't alive 3, 4 generations ago? But those are things that you carry in yourself in your everyday when you're walking around doing life every day. What about trauma? Anybody in here experienced trauma? Trauma has become just as normalized as the air we breathe now. All of that impacts us in some way or another. We walk around with trauma in our body. I think about pressure. When I grew up, I was the oldest girl. And I don't know if there are any oldest girls in here, but being the oldest girl comes with a certain amount of responsibility. I was the oldest girl over at 9. I think about all of this at 8. I'm at 9 as the most amount at the same time. And as the oldest girl, I was getting a lot of responsibility over what they do and how they do and how. So even, pressure was put on me even as a little girl to be the example and the role model for the kids that I live with. I think about relationships and not just relationships that are romantic relationships, but I think about familial relationships and how the struggles to maintain those relationships and how that impacts me provides its own struggles. One of the things that is a challenge is expectations. Expectations are both self-imposed and externally imposed. So many people have expectations, but I think the things that we probably struggle with the most is the expectations that we put on ourselves. When we think about that, where are those coming from? I think that's the old touched on it a little bit. Sometimes we'll be looking around and we have an expectation I should be one. By this time in my life, I should have whatever. I used to hate going home for Thanksgiving until I didn't get there until I was like 32, 33. Every time I went home, when you gonna have a baby? What? Why do you feel like you have a baby already? I want a husband. You better hurry up and have a baby. Those types of things. And then not just going home, but like you ever hear about the proverbial biological clock. Yes. If you haven't done so many things by this time, your life is going to be over. Yes. Just the idea that you should be somewhere at a certain time, that is a false truth. God has a purpose and a destiny for every single one of us, and He's the one that charts our path, not the expectations of other people. God can help people with that. And then let's think about just life. Like we're going about life. Life is happening. Nobody told me that when I turned 40, that my body was going to forget certain things that are just normal. I had no idea. Like when you deal with challenges, that's not something that is some of that is controllable. What about the things that aren't? What about people who got a diagnosis that they didn't expect? What about people that live with pain every day? And then there's still an expectation that we're going to perform. There's still an expectation that we're going to continue to do the thing, run the life, take care of our kids if we have them, go to work every day. Those expectations and those responsibilities that we have, they don't go away just as we age, so do our parents. Has anyone's relationship with their parents changed? To where now you're not just the kid, now you have to be the parent of the family. What are the things that you experience psychologically that now you're going to have to be the one to tell your parents, no, you can't do that, no, you can't go this place? Did you take your medicine today? What did the doctor say? Do y'all have parents who are taking that well? And so that relationship is shifted. In addition to if you have to raise kids, you have to raise your parents at the same time. Those are things that we're dealing with. Grief will come. That's a good one for me. I do. In addition to aging parents, we have parents that are going on to be with the Lord. And that's a challenge that you don't always have. Oh, y'all. All right, I'm getting myself scared. Half the room goes, and they know I'm crying. But I don't even know how to speak on grief because here I am sitting to be talking about work-life balance. And the struggles to do all the things, and I don't care for the people. Oh. Yeah, that's all. And as you deal with all these things, um, it affects your body. It affects your mental and emotional. It affects your relationships. It affects just who you are. One of the things I thought about is the week that I was in my 20s. The me that I was in my 20s, I am not the same person. There are some people in here that will say, thank you, Jesus. That you are not the same you that you were. And I think the encouragement is that challenges come and challenges change you. And it's not always a bad thing that you're changing. Um, yeah, I have some ideas and some thoughts, and you can see some of the impacts of that. Uh, one of the things that Pastor Otina was talking about was when you find yourself in some of these spaces, one of the things that the devil will do is take you away from community. It'll isolate you. It's in those moments that the destiny of the Lord has in your life, the purpose and the plan that He set out for you, and start to happen. If you don't have the wisdom necessary to not be in isolation, you can find yourself a community of people that can serve, support, and lift you up, then, I mean, if there's nothing you want to do, it's a benefit. You see how death is imminent if you don't come out of that place. Challenges have impact on people's mental and emotional health. And if you're not careful, those things that are happening internally in your mental and emotional will start to show up in physical ways. Sicknesses that are unexplainable, you keep going to the doctor, you just can't figure out what's wrong or what's going on. And it starts to eat away at your throat. So we have to be intentional about how we deal with challenges and how we move forward. So, I said earlier in scientific terms, challenges come and go just like the tide. And if you want to rise above the tide, you gotta know that all is not lost. If you truly believe what the Bible says, that all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord and are called according to His purposes, the challenges that we go through are meant for a purpose. They're meant to grow us. And not just that, like, we have people who are watching us. We have people who are checking to see how it is that we handle things. If we call ourselves people of faith or women's God, when we don't lean into God to be able to deal with our challenges, what is that doing to our testimony? What is our witness? How is that impacting others? I had two tiny dudes that watch my every move, every day. And I don't take it lightly that it's my responsibility to steward them in a way to be healthy women of God who are upstanding people, who are good examples, who love each other, who are generous. And they're watching what I do. They're watching how I model for them. I wrote down, we model for others how to lean into the strength of God and to persevere and not just give in to the challenges, not just lay down. Now, I'm a believer in a nap, okay? I believe in taking naps, but you don't just lay down to stay down. You lay down to regroup and to get back in there and do the things that you know that God's called us to. So, my husband thinks this is funny because at the end of every service, he wants to invite us to Christ Community and Connection, which is wonderful. And then I want to share like one of the ways that I got through challenges in my life. When I came to college, I got some of the three most important relationships that has truly been life changing. The first relationship is when I truly came into the saving knowledge of Jesus Christ. When I laid down my grandmama religion and really figured out what does it mean to know the Christ of the Bible, know the Christ that saves, know the Christ that heals. For myself, not because of what my grandma made me go to church. I mean, it was cool a lot of times, but there was no talk about relationships. There was no talk about me sitting down, having a conversation with the Lord, and Him talking. That was the thing. So that was the first thing that changed my life. The second thing is I made some friends. And that is, it sounds cliche, but
It's all right.
the Bible says God sets us out here. And I have sisters that are more like blood than what I could ever imagine. And so they laugh at me because they're in here and like relationships matter. Like we can't do life what He called us to do in isolation. That's not the way He designed for us. So I have friends that I've been friends with for 20 plus years. God gave me him, God gave me them, and then He introduced me to a couch and a counselor. I have had the blessing of sitting on some couches of some of the most amazing individuals to really help me work through my trauma and my drama. Um, I was a raggedy mess showing up at them tears back in 2000, but you couldn't have told me that. But as I journeyed within the relationship, it started to be revealed to me just how where we think they was drinking. Like the holes was all janked up. Like there was no uh, clear flow of anything because it was just, you know, all of that. And so I think I went to my first counseling session at 19, and it's really been a blessing in my life to be able to sit through and unpack and talk through the unforgiveness, the trauma, the rejection, the all the things that will seek to thwart whatever it is the destiny that God has for you as you move in this life. So I would strongly encourage you if you've never seen a counselor, you've never seen a therapist, you know, bless your life. So when I think about if I had to leave you with any encouragement, any next step, I would just say two things. Get to know the you that God created. Get to know the you that God created. Um, so often we spend so much time chasing all the things. You know, we'll hide behind the responsibilities of the kids. We'll hide behind the calendar. We'll hide behind, you know, seeking to get the next job or the next raise or the next promotion. And we don't take the time to get to know the us that God created. We have changed over these years. The life situation that we've gone through, they've changed it. And he wants us to know what he thinks about it. And Jeremiah 1 verse 5 says, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I sanctified you. If you don't know that in your skin time, take some time and get to know. I'll praise you for I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. That's not just a few scriptures. That is what God did. And you might be surprised when you take some time with you. You might like you. I like time with people. But it took me some time to speak in the way that God taught me. And then I was okay. Uh, and if you haven't, before you can get to know the you that God created, you got to know the God that created you. Not until I have the opportunity to really sit down and get to know God, that He then to start to reveal to me the me that He made. And it was very different than what my mom said. It was very different than what I thought of myself. And I like it. God says to us, behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, then I'll come in. He said, I'll eat and I'll be with you. That's a promise and a blessing that I really appreciate. I want you to know that you're worth the time and space to allow time to return. Take it. Your kids will appreciate it. Um, and then they'll also learn to make room and space mark it around you and let mom. Because they know, like, I don't know if I'm trained or if that's just the help of the Holy Spirit, that when they know I'm off, they know I just need some time to myself. And I hope what I'm modeling for them is when you need some time to you can go with it, some time to you, like stop all the striving. Stop striving. Stop struggling for where you think you're supposed to be. You got this. Thank y'all for letting me finish this I think it's a great time for y'all to sleep on the break. Stop and drink some water, go to the bathroom, pray for me while you're out there.